Let's be real for a second. Dealing with other people can be the toughest part of, well, just about anything. Your job, your family, your life. For almost 100 years, one single book has been the secret weapon for figuring all this out. Today, we're going to break down the core ideas from Dale Carnegie's masterpiece, starting with the one insight that changes everything.
So Carnegie kicks things off with this observation that, when you think about it, rings even truer today. You could be the most brilliant coder, the most talented designer, whatever. But if you can't work with people, if you can't communicate your ideas, you're basically putting a cap on how far you can go. This one idea is the bedrock for everything else we're about to talk about.
Okay, so where do we even begin? Carnegie builds his entire philosophy from the ground up with 3 fundamental techniques. And look, these aren't just little tips and tricks. This is a total mindset shift in how you approach every single conversation you have.
The first rule, and this is maybe the single most important rule in the whole book, is this: don't criticize, don't condemn, and don't complain. It sounds so simple, right? But it's incredibly hard to do. This whole idea of kicking the beehive, it never gets you the honey. All it does is get you stung with resentment.
And if you think that's an exaggeration, get this. Carnegie tells the story of Two Gun Crowley, a notorious killer back in the day. So when he was finally cornered by the police in a massive shootout, did he say, "Man, I messed up"? Absolutely not. He wrote a letter saying that underneath it all, he had a weary but kind heart. The point is, if a cold-blooded killer doesn't blame himself for anything, what chance do you have of making a coworker see their mistake by just criticizing them?
And the psychology behind this is actually pretty simple. As the psychologist Hans Selye put it, we all crave approval, and we absolutely dread being condemned. Criticism triggers that deep-seated fear of being rejected, and it just makes people resent you. It poisons any chance you have of actually changing their behavior. Okay, let's bring this down to earth with a real-world story. There was a safety supervisor, George Johnston, who needed his crew to wear their hard hats. At first, he just barked orders at them. And yeah, they'd put them on. But the second he turned his back, the hats came right off. So he tried something else. He started asking them, hey, are those hats uncomfortable? Is there an issue? He gently reminded them they were for their own protection. The result? He got way better compliance, and nobody resented him for it. Same goal, totally different feeling.
Okay, so we've covered what not to do. Don't kick the beehive. But that's only half the story. The next piece, the real secret to having influence, is the fun part. How to get people to actually want to do what you're asking.
Carnegie uses this brilliant analogy of fishing. Think about it. You don't put strawberries and cream on a hook just because you love them, right? Of course not. You use worms because that's what the fish wants. And it's the exact same thing with people. The only way on earth to influence somebody is to stop talking about what you want and start talking about what they want, and then show them how